Do y'all think that that is really Matt's and Anansa's real house? Let me know what you think in the chat. I don't know. The outside is nice. The outside gives nice, pretty, ooh wee. But when you go on the inside, you just get plain, basic, regular. I mean, that's like a working class person's house. That old brown couch with that gray ottoman, that kitchen, there is no razzle, no dazzle in that entire house. Nothing in the bedrooms, the twins' bedroom, their bedroom, the background, a hallway, nothing. Tell me what you guys think. How do you rate this episode? I really like this show. Well, I'm good. I love a good family reality show. So let's get into it. Shall we? We are talking about the Barnes Bunch, Season 1, Episode 4, Sweet Home Sacramento. Now, the loving couple has gone to the spa and they're spending the day at the spa. They are in their white robes, sitting down. They must have just came from a massage or something, or whatever. And they have their glass, they have the wine, and they're just sitting there catching up and just talking. And they're back from Vegas. You know, they were in Vegas last week. So they're talking about going, grabbing the family and going up to SAC to meet up with the family. Um, Matt's family is his father and his stepmom. His mother is deceased, and hook up with the sister. And Anonymous tells us that she was closer to Danny before their breakup. And then after they broke up, she said some mean things on social media, and now she questions their friendship. And it's like, wow, wow, like she has to fight with the sister too. Like the twins' mother, Gloria, same thing with her, oh my God, why can't she find some peace and love with these women in Matt's life? Goodness gracious. So they talk about hanging out with his dad, and Anasa really loves his dad and Nancy. Nancy is the stepmother. So she discusses with Matt, like, don't you think you might want to have a talk with your dad? And he agrees to it. And, saying like how now it seems like dad has gotten softer now, like he hugs the kids, and Matt is like, oh yeah, Pops he's super pop now. And so Matt tells us he didn't have a bad childhood, but there was no connection between him and his father. Like his father didn't tell him he loves him or gave him hugs. And most of it was basically Henry Barnes worked a lot. Sounds like he had two jobs. And, the only thing they really connected on was sports. And Matt just goes on to tell us that, there was no deep conversations. But the good thing is when Matt's mom passed away, her name was Ann Barnes. She passed away at 50. She had cancer, and he was only, I think he said he was 27 years old at the time. And that's really young to lose your mom. And he was like sitting there then getting ready to cry. And it would have been nice to have if he did cry. It's fine. It's your mom. You don't have to be strong for us. It's your mom. You should be crying every time you bring her up. You miss her, You've lived almost half your life without her, She's missed your children. Like, it's okay, cry. You feel so much better afterwards. So he mentioned that his pops stepped up after his mom passed. Like, after his mom died, that was the first time he saw his father cry. And then his mom, dad stepped up. So I like that. Then it seemed like Matt quickly changed the subject after that. Like, he didn't want to get all bent out of shape on his TV screen, honey. So he changed the subject and talked about the cheering. So Isaiah is one of the twins, and he's telling Anansa that Isaiah did not finish his test in school. Said he didn't finish the test, didn't turn it in. He takes the test, put it in his notebook, and takes it, goes to his next class. And after that class, he tries to go back to the teacher and turn it in. And so we're like, what was that about? Are you cheating? Did someone else complete your test? Did you get why did you take it, didn't turn it in, then want to bring it back after a whole another class? So we get back home and the twins are in their bedroom playing video games. And Matt comes in, and I like the connection he has with the boys because it's really like real chill. Like, what's up, bruh? What's up, gang? What's up? And so he asked Isaiah, like, what's up with this test? And Isaiah pretty much said he studied, and when it was time to take the test, he just didn't remember everything he studied. And so he said the teacher didn't say nothing. And so when he tried to turn it in, the teacher was like, well, you didn't turn it in. You bring it back, and I'm going to call your parents about this. And Isaiah was like, oh, well, okay, oh, well. And Matt was like, no, it's not, oh, well. You have a commitment, you have a responsibility, you're smart, do your work, turn it in. Simple as that. Popping son things. They said that he said the things he was supposed to say to remind his son, no, you need greatness. You don't want the reputation that you don't finish, and you don't want that on you. So finish your work. So then he tells the boys that they're gonna go ahead and run up to Sacramento to spend time with the family. And child, the other twin, his name is Carter. He's like, Pops, this is my 1 year anniversary coming up. This is special. We got plans. We're going to Disneyland. Her parents taking us to Disneyland on Sunday. So Matt is like, nah, bro, you going to see Grandpa. You can celebrate later. I can go get you the VIP passes, and you'll do it later. And so he thinks he got it all planned out. And so he like, that's cool. And so Carter got a little slick in the mouth for me. He was like, of course this is important. It's my anniversary. And it's like, hold on, bruh. And so I'm thinking, oh, Matt, you need to check the sex monitor, because that there right there, I think he's having sex. I think Carter already having sex, because just little boys, their attitude get kind of when they start with that. Um, Matt was trying to insist that it'll be greater later and all that, and Carter did not care nothing about that. So um my thing is, did you just tell your father that you got plans? You and this girl, you going with her parents to Disneyland on Sunday. So you just said, okay. Do you have allowance? Do you have money? And if you do, that's fine. But should you have am I to assume that he worked these plans out with his mom? But what would that mean if the weekend is with his dad? Like, how are you making plans and not telling your dad? Is that something boys can do that girls can't? Because I couldn't do that when I was that age, 15, 14, 15. I had to ask permission. I didn't ever tell my parents that what I was doing. I had to ask if I could do it. So I was hating a little bit right there. Like, wait a minute, these new kids can just make plans. Wow. So okay, so they're downstairs, get talking about who they got packed up. Anansa and Matt, I'm speaking of. And here comes Isaiah. And he's like, y'all should let Carter stay. He's up there crying. And I had to leave the room because he's crying too much. And they're all like, what? So uh Carter comes downstairs crying, and Anansa, she's mother, so she grabs him, she hugs him, and she's rubbing him. And she mouths to Matt, "You need to let him stay." So Matt is like, "Oh boy, my boy is crying. So he said, "Oh, my bad, um, you can stay. I'm my bad." So they do a group hug. He hugs his son, the brother hugs them, then she hugs all of them. Such a beautiful moment. Did I cry right there? I think I cried. So Matt goes into saying how he's happy that his kids are showing their emotions because he was raised not to. And so he can really respect that they can express themselves. And so he goes ahead and the way he caps it off is he says, "Okay, you can stay, but no house parties." And then Anansa was like, "Well, maybe Uncle G can stay over." And so, of course, Matt is like, "No, grandpa. I don't want to be a grandpa." So that was cute, very cute. Okay, so the family minus Carter is off to Sacramento and they have Danny's son. Was his name Jalen or Jaden? He goes to school in LA, so he met up with them and they're all on Southwest Airlines, honey. And they head off to Sac. So they get the kids settled in a hotel. The little boy Aston is just all over the place, and Matt made a joke about he wish he could put them on a leash, but they see that as child abuse. But he would like to put the kids on a leash so they could stay in place and not be all over the place. So they get ready to go to dinner with the parents. And so Nas is like, "We not changing clothes." And Matt was like, "No, this is it." So she doesn't change clothes. So they go and meet the parents for dinner. And Anansa is there by herself for a minute. Then Matt joins her. And she's really thanking the parents, Henry and Nancy, thanking them for their support during the breakup because they still reached out to her and let them know that they love her. So Nancy tells her, "Oh, we fell in love with you the first day we met you." And so they talk about the kids. And when Matt joins them, they talk about the kids. And, the dad, his face lights up talking about his grandkids. So they were talking about Carter and how he didn't come because he has this girlfriend. It's been a year and they want to go to Disneyland and all that. And so they all are like understanding that let Carter live in his moment. And that's what I even took from that because it was like, "Oh, wow, that's cute." And, Matt was just saying, like, that just turned 15. He has facial hair. He'll be going to college in about 3 years. So you got to make the best of this time because he'll be grown. So they talk about the girlfriends. And so Nansa tells them that they had the sex talk. And she asked Henry, "Mr. Barnes, did you have the talk with Matt about sex?" And that just changed the whole dynamic of the table. So it goes to no. And it seemed like Matt turned into a little boy right then and there. So the dad says, "No, I was at work 99% of the time." And then we flash, then we switch gears. And now we're at lunch. Danny and Matt are at lunch. This is his sister. And he tells us that she is his ride or die, no matter what. So, but they've been beefing a little bit. They've been beefing about her dating life. And so Matt tells us that, or he tells her, like, "We both love hard. And I just want you to know that you're worthy and you're an amazing woman and you're a good mom." And so Danny's like, she takes it in. She's like, "Yeah, yeah." And she's like, "And I'm trying to I give you grace because I'm very vocal about all of your relationships." Just like that little sister, she had to put it in there like, "I'm saying what I said and I meant that." Ha! You know. So they talked about how they've been distant in their interactions. And she was saying, "I could come over and, you're upstairs smoking in your room and Anansa's downstairs on her phone." And yeah. So they talk about when Anansa and Matt split up, she was talking about how there was distance there and how she took a stance with him. So I guess this is how she got on social media, and it was like who riding Anansa. So she was like, I was raised to be real. That just sticks with me. And being Anansa, we're just surface level now. And then Matt was explaining to her, like, Anansa is an only child. Like, she doesn't have any sisters or that sister like relationship with anyone. She doesn't have a sister in law. And he was like, you guys need to talk. Maybe you guys could just, get on that deeper connection together. And so, because I liked how he said, because she's the one for me. And I love that, man. Take up for your woman. That's right. Let that girl know, your little sister. Stay in your place because she ain't going nowhere. Take it or not. This is my boo. And she had to respect that herself. So he said, okay, that leads me to asking, are you coming for Christmas? Because basically, I'm going to assume they haven't talked since probably the last Christmas. So she was like, I feel like last year we were intruding on your family because Anansa didn't adjust to me. And so Matt was like, well, you know what? Let's change the narrative and let's do it. Why don't you come for Christmas and we'll change all of this? Let's go ahead and y'all get it together this Christmas. And I was like, look at Big Brother just putting that all together. So then we see Matt is in the car driving down the street, and his attorney calls him. And he has some lawsuit, some trial coming up in 2 weeks in New York. So this story happened in 2016 in a nightclub in New York City, and some people reported that there was a fight that broke out, and Matt beat up about 3 or 4 people. So it's a woman and her boyfriend filing charges against Matt, and they want $6 million. Shoot. And so the attorney is calling, telling him to go ahead and do a $1 million settlement. And so Matt is like $1 million just to be at the wrong time at the wrong place. And he's like, yeah, this is better than them getting $6 million out of you. So let me flash back to the house where Carter is. They're in the living room, sitting on the couch, and the girlfriend she sprained her ankle the night before playing basketball. So he's icing her ankle. And he calls Uncle G Uncle Babysitter. So Uncle Babysitter comes in and he's like, what's going on in here? It's quiet. What's wrong with your leg? You all right? When did that happen? And so he's like, okay, y'all. So, they told him she sprained her ankle, basketball game, she'll be okay. And he asked, you okay? She's like, uh-huh. So he was like, okay, stay here in this open space where I can hear you guys. We all good. And so they're like, yeah, we good. You good? Yep. Mm-hmm. So Carter asked for food. And I guess the edits cut off what he really said. So he must have said something slick because Carter was capping on his bald head. And Uncle Babysitter was like, you like it. That's why you talking about it. And so they loved on each other. And Carter was like, I love Uncle G and all that. And so then we then we go to Sacramento, and it's Matt and his father together, and they drive to the childhood home. Now, this is the home that they moved to from San Jose, which is about maybe 2 hours away, maybe 2.5 hours away from Sac. So they moved from San Jose to Sacramento, and this is pretty much where I think Matt was in the 3rd grade when he moved, so he was like 9 or 10 years old. So this is where he lived. And so they're at the house talking about how the yard used to look. And Pops was like, yeah, I provided for my family, did the 2 jobs. And there was no hanging out time. And he was like, yeah, I couldn't hang out. And then Matt was saying, yeah, you barely was able to come to my games. And he was like, yeah, yeah. And he said, but I do remember that when you used to throw parties, I would be trying to get the leftovers, the beers and the whatever else, cigarettes, something he would get. And they laughed, and that was cute that Matt knows how to, read the room. Like he was trying to say something a little too heavy, didn't get the response, so he brought in the funny. Um, so Pops was just saying, yeah, I don't talk about my childhood. And so then he tells us, he said, I always felt like I was the black sheep of my family. He said that when his dad left, his mom took everything out on him. And I didn't catch if Matt's father had siblings or was he the only child? Because why was he catching all the heat? Did he look just like his father? Because sometimes that can be why. But if he's a black sheep, then I'm thinking there probably were siblings. Okay, and she just took it out on him. He said, I was a little traumatized about all the ways he was hit on. He said she would beat him naked. Oh, I just can't even get into it. So let's not get into that. So she took it out on him physically. But he said it made him stronger, but he just didn't know how to love. And baby, was that not the realest thing that someone could just admit to? Do you know how much it takes to even say something like that? Like, I was strong because of being beaten by my mother so much growing up, but it made me strong, but I don't know how to love. I don't have that because he wasn't given that, right? So thank God through therapy, Matt has given his dad grace, and now his relationship with his father is very important to him, especially after losing a mom. So the daddy says the most realest thing, and Matt needs to hear it. He told him, "I wish I could have done better, but I didn't know how." And baby, the that's all we needed. That was what we needed. There's the healing right there. That's the word right there. I can't give you what I don't know to give, but I'm doing it better now. He didn't say that, but that's his actions. You remember Matt said he stepped up when his mom passed, and now he loves his father even more. So then they say, parenting is an on the job training. And they both agree to that. And so his daddy was just like, just be better than your parents. And they've come a long, long, long way with their healing and their relationship. And Matt said he is very proud of that. And you can hear it in my voice. That just touched me so. So then we get to the park. Matt and Danielle, the whole family is at the park, and this is a park where Matt grew up. He came there, he went there to play basketball. He played with grown men, getting his knees all scratched up and bleeding all over the ground. And they were just talking about school and how he was in third grade when he got to Sacramento, and the white kids didn't want to play with him on the school, at the park. And so his dad told him to fight. If somebody get crazy with you, just fight them. And he used to fight so much that his mom had to work at the school. And I guess that was the way she could protect her son. And so, yeah, so that's when he understood that he was black. That's what he understood. The white people helped him understand, because your mother is Italian and your father is black, you're black. You're not mixed. You're not half white, half black. You're black. Okay, so what do some guys spit on Danielle at school, and Matt beat him up. Danielle said the school was 98% white, so I'm going to assume her, Matt, and their brother was the 2% that made it not 100% white. So Matt was fighting for her, for him, for everybody. So child of KKK then came up to the school, hung a mannequin up on a tree out front of the school with a noose, and had his football jersey on with his football number on a football jersey, and a note that said "Die in word, die in word." They burnt the bathroom down. They were trying to kill Matt, and then they got the NAACP involved, and they moved to another home, and they gave them security guards out in front of their new house. They were securing their home for about a month. And Matt let the kids know that he don't condone violence, but some circumstances may change that. And I think every kid got they understood the assignment. And then Nansa went into the Trayvon Martin story with her kids, the younger kids, and then the episode ends. But I'm really loving the show. I'm liking the flow. The previews got me a little nervous because they're in therapy and they getting into it, and she gets up and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So we'll have to tune in next week. But you guys don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can be notified of the next videos. And please chat in the comments respectfully and let me know what you grade this episode. I'm going to give this episode, I liked it because there was some learning points. So I'm going to go ahead and just say A plus because we had the father connection, we had the sister connection, we had the connection with Carter, and it was an A for me. It was an A. Okay, besties, be good to yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.